And it's time for another drawing in the dark. My name is Levi Smith. This is my drawing channel where I draw things here in a sketchbook with a ballpoint pen. Not necessarily in an instructional sense, but I do tend to add in a little bit of commentary about what I'm doing and what's going on. Today's video is, as you may have been able to tell from the thumbnail, a C-3PO and R2-D2 bit here on a big old pile of bones. It's kind of fun. Took a lot longer than suggested in this video, that's for sure. This drawing altogether took about 4 hours, and a lot of the time was lost into the field of skulls. But, you know, as per usual, you know, I start off with one of these with the general idea. That general idea here was C-3PO and R2-D2. I pull out a little bit of reference, and then I get to it. You know, we start off with just a really generic, general kind of composition concept here. I wanted to put them on a hill of skulls, so I put them a little bit higher up, give me some room for all those skulls and stuff. And then just start working in a lot of the basic shapes, a lot of the general details and stuff of the forms and figures. R2-D2, I mean, he's a trash can with legs, and so he doesn't take that long to lay out. But C-3PO, you know, he's got some really subtly specific characteristics about his figure that I really found challenging, because you really can't draw him like in a lot of normal human poses. There's just that stiff pose. And I even feel like I ended up with his legs a little bit too far apart. That they should have been closer together and stuff. I mean, he's kind of like an action figure with, you know, the fewest points of articulation, you know, imaginable. You know, like 5 points: one for the neck, one for each arm, one for the legs, at the hips. And so he was a little tricky on that kind of end. And then, you know, working out some details and stuff here, I was really wanting to get C-3PO and R2-D2 down here to a general enough recognizable point before I really got started into the skull and bones and stuff. So I just kind of work along here and stuff. This video, you know, there are definitely some interesting elements and factors about this one. It took me quite a while to work on. It took me a couple of days, and I really did have to, you know, chop it together and speed it up quite a bit in some places and stuff, and then do a little bit of a jump cut. You'll see that, just a little foreshadowing, I guess. And the process kind of led me to thinking about, you know, more benevolent, kind of like servant class kind of robotics and AI and stuff, and how, you know, this last time I was in an airport, there was a robotic vacuum cleaner, not like a Roomba thing. It was way more like a, you know, like a R2-D2 kind of thing, just like or one of those Gronk droids, where it was really just a, you know, rectangular kind of box on wheels with its little vacuum thing and its sensors and eyes and stuff, and can emit little noises and stuff, little beeps and boops. And it really occurred to me that we're kind of, you know, we're kind of there, you know. And it was definitely, you know, novel to see that, you know, that machine just kind of like wandering around and doing its own vacuum job, because it would go around people, go around all the benches and stuff, and avoid your luggage and everything, and kids and stuff, you know, and just kind of trucking along. But it was still pretty diligent. It was really interesting to watch it for a while. And you know, but more and more these things, you know, because how these kinds of technologies start, like if you look at, say, the telephone or television, stuff like that, automobiles, a lot of this technology really starts off in this novel, kind of rare, experimental, oddity kind of stage, you know, and that's where we've got like the Boston Dynamic robots and all the variety of robotics and stuff that we've been dealing with, say, for like the past like 30, 40 years. Really, you know, unique objects. They're clumsy and awkward and prototypical and stuff. And then you start getting more into, past that stage, a more like government type utilitarian kind of usage. Something like that would be, say, the use of like autonomous drones, or even the potential of some of these other like quadruped, pack animal kind of robots and stuff. We've seen that at like companies like Boston Dynamics and whatnot. And and then the next stage after that is more of like a commercial application, more industrial commercial application. That's really where you start seeing these kinds of like autonomous robots. I'm not talking about like the robotic arms and like auto manufacturing. That was an earlier stage. But then you start seeing, these robot forklifts and stuff in like Amazon warehouses, and you see these robotic vacuum cleaners at airports and stuff like that. And so you have more of like an industrial commercial kind of use. And then, and already a lot of this is blurring and stuff, where you have like the Roomba, and you've got a lot of these home autonomous kind of gadgets and stuff. I mean, particularly the Roomba. I imagine like a lawnmower will be coming around pretty soon, or is already available to a certain degree. And so it in another 10, 15 years, we're going to be having, pet toys, and other oddball little, like a little cooler that drives around your house and follows you around, that's, got a 6-pack of beer in it and stuff, that you can just call and it'll come to wherever you happen to be, sort of thing. And other uses for a lot of these kinds of like little autonomous bots, self-navigating and stuff through your house, doing little jobs or carrying around stuff, like a dirty clothes basket that goes around and sucks clothes up off the floor, and then holds it in the basket. A lot of this stuff is going to become a lot more common, a lot more ubiquitous, and a lot more of a even like non-mentionable. It'll become casual. What do you mean you don't have a vacuum robot in your house? Will become just as common as, what do you mean you don't have a cell phone? What do you mean you don't have the internet? What do you mean you don't have a TV? What do you mean you don't have a car? Because technology will get to that point of, from that earliest points to its end point, is almost to the level where people will wonder the value of you as a citizen without said technology. So, cell phones, smartphones are a great example in that, where before you didn't have to have them, now you really do. You kind of really need a smartphone these days, for a whole number of things, and it's not that you absolutely do, not yet. Man, we're getting really close to that, where you're not going to be able to fly a plane, rent a car, buy stuff, all kinds of activities and behavior that are going to be a problem if you don't have a smartphone. I mean, it already makes things a million times easier and more convenient and faster in so many ways. Like with my daughter, she's 13. She's going to be starting 8th grade. She doesn't have a smartphone, and there's a general assumption to a lot of people that she does or should. And so the question already is, well, what do you mean she doesn't have a smartphone? That's interesting. Why is that? What reasoning or thinking is behind that decision? But oh, hey, we had our jump cut. Yeah, so I'm just gonna speed up here from having just barely started the Skulls and Bones to finished, and because that took a lot of time. And then I also, you can even see with like the tonal change of the video at different points in this one, that my lighting was changing throughout different times of the day. And other than at the beginning of the video, the other handful of times I sat down to work on this, I forgot to turn on my ring light. And so a little bit more of a natural lighting with some of these. That is definitely something I need to do, though, is remember to turn that damn thing on. And but anyway, yeah, man, robots everywhere. Robots, AI, robots everywhere. They're going to be cleaning your bathroom. They're going to be picking up your laundry. They're going to be vacuuming your living room. They're already vacuuming your living room. Well, I mean, not mine, maybe not yours, but somebody's living room is being vacuumed by a robot right now. And that's just going to become more and more common, more pervasive, and I generally think that it's pretty cool, but at the same time, I'm not so sure. Uh, Sometimes these things go horribly wrong, and then sometimes they just kind of like blend into the background of society, and people don't actually think too much about them. And so I'm not sure where that's going to end up. And considering all the other spicy subjects on current events and stuff, and the prevailing feelings of doom and gloom and impending disaster in various ways um, that we're experiencing in current 2024 America, it seems like a much more fascinating and benign kind of subject to talk about as far as the robot apocalypse goes. So here we are, drawing up some C-3PO, some R2-D2, some of the friendliest robots that we've known in pop culture. I don't know how exactly friendly R2-D2 is. It's a good thing he doesn't have a higher capability for damage than he does. He might have been had a much larger role in things, as it were. One of the interesting things about these characters, though, is that they really are the connecting thread through like all of those main saga entries into the Star Wars storylines, where I mean they're really the witnesses of uh, the Skywalker saga, as it were. I think their presence through all of that has really been, and I wish they had a little bit more of a presence in the sequel trilogy, which I'm not especially particularly mad about, but it's not what I would have done. You know, if you would have given me a generally casual Star Wars fan, I'm not hardcore about Star Wars at all. Uh, if you'd have given me the option to write up a trilogy, it is not the trilogy that I would have come up with. And I think that's one of the problems is I don't know if it was anybody that would have come up with that trilogy. It didn't even really seem much of a trilogy in itself. The three movies just did not seem to carry a really cohesive plot through it all, you know. But at the same time, there's some really interesting visuals. But again, I'm a super casual. I'm really not there to go all hardcore about what they did wrong or did right, or how this contradicts other parts of the saga and storylines and this and that. Um, no, I definitely get into that a bit with the Star Trek, but not with the Star Wars. I could care less. I don't think that they could ruin. Well, in general, I don't think that they could ruin my childhood by messing up any of these properties, these franchises. But at the same time, they definitely couldn't do it with Star Wars. But yeah, I mean, we're pretty much at the end here of the video, and we have some of this outro kind of stuff. As far as just a general quick commentary on the drawing, I think it turned out. I really think that C-3PO could have been done a bit better. It is like the first time that I've really ever drawn this stuff. But if you get a chance, check out Kenny and I's podcast, the Pop Culture Classics, wherever you can find podcasts. Check out on Amazon our art books. All the links are in the description and everything. We do have some T-shirts available out there somewhere. I'm still working on. There's a lot going on. I'm still gonna have to work on getting them squared away though, and getting those T-shirts more available to people just in general, like online. And then check us out on the Patreon. I do post a lot of exclusive video content and other drawings and stuff on the Patreon. And I've been up there for years and stuff, so there's a ton of like backlog development work and everything, step by step on the activity book drawing and all that stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you coming by. Thanks for everybody that's come back. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all of those things, and we're gonna catch you later.